Malam Jibril knew time was running out. 2 days after the elders gave him the 2-week ultimatum to stop the skeleton or be sacrificed to the gods, he packed a few clothes and left the village before sunrise. He could not fight this strange enemy alone. He needed help, real help. He decided to travel to Sambisa Army Base, one of the largest military bases in the northeast. He had taught science there once during a teacher's exchange program and knew a few contacts. He had nothing to lose. When he arrived at the base, dusty and tired, he asked to see Commander Ordu Ibrahim, a senior military officer who had led many successful operations against terrorists. After hours of waiting and background checks, he was finally allowed in. Commander Ordu, a tall, bald man in his late 50s with a sharp face and serious eyes, listened carefully as Jibril told his story. How the terrorists had approached him to join a strange research group, how he turned them down, and how a metallic skeleton later killed his entire family and began attacking villages. "I know who some of these people are," Jibril said, his voice trembling. "I can help you find them, but I can't do it alone." The commander was silent for a moment. Then he stood up, extended his hand, and said, "Thank you for your courage, Malam Jibril. You are a brave man. We will begin a full investigation tomorrow. We will protect you and bring these criminals to justice." Jibril felt a small wave of hope rise in his heart for the first time in weeks. But that hope died the next morning. He was staying in a guest room inside the army base when a loud knock woke him. Soldiers stormed into the room with guns drawn. "Where is he?" shouted one of them. "The terrorist is here." Jibril froze. "Terrorist? Me?" They pushed past him and ransacked the room. Within minutes, someone shouted from outside, "He's been declared wanted." Jibril's heart nearly stopped. He didn't wait to hear more. He dashed through the back window and fled into the thick bush nearby. By noon, his name and face were on every radio and town announcement board. Malam Jibril, wanted for links with terrorist activities. If seen, report to the nearest security post. He couldn't believe it. The same government he went to for help had now branded him a criminal. He didn't know how. Maybe the terrorists had informants in the army. Maybe someone lied. All he knew was that both the terrorists and the soldiers were now hunting him. And his village? They were simply waiting for the 2 weeks to be over so they could sacrifice him at the Tungar Majigi shrine. Everyone was against him. Everyone. Jibril hid in the ruins of an abandoned settlement deep in the forest. He hadn't eaten properly in 2 days. At night, he barely slept. Every crack of a twig, every flutter of a bird's wing, made his heart race. What if the skeleton found him again? What if the soldiers tracked him? What if the villagers delivered him to the shrine gods? One evening, as he sat under a tree with a piece of dry bread, he whispered to himself, "Who can I trust now? No one, maybe not even myself." His mind wandered back to his wife and children, the way they screamed as the skeleton pointed at them. He covered his face and wept like a child. Still, something inside him refused to give up. He was a man of science, a teacher. He knew this wasn't magic, it was a machine, made by humans. That meant it could be stopped. But how? He had no weapons, no allies, no food, no safe place to hide. He was a man alone, marked by all sides, and time was running out. "I must find a way," he muttered, "even if it's the last thing I do." As the wind howled through the trees and darkness fell over the forest, Malam Jibril wrapped himself in a torn blanket and closed his eyes. Tomorrow was another day. One step closer to his fate, or his freedom. Watch out for the final part of the story.